Have you ever feel that when you became an entrepreneur that there's some type of intangible light bulb that went off? And most of the things that you thought that carry you as a child, your belief that carry you as a child, you had to unlearn those and carry new beliefs with you. Or maybe it's just me. Hey, it's your girl Sherry Somerville. Welcome to Monetize Your Influence podcast. Today, one of those things that I felt that I had to unlearn, I'm going to talk about that right now. So, for a while, I was always told that in the space of sales and marketing, I need to position myself like the expert. I need to showcase that I know what I'm talking about. I need to educate people to death. I also need to nurture them until they say yes. And these were all of the things that was taught to me, and I did that and I still didn't see any sale, right? I follow all the mythology of showcasing that I'm the expert. And you know what? The sign that really stood out for me too, and it's not, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but it is true. It was not until like this year where something got clear to me, because not only did I hear those limiting belief thoughts or wrong belief, I also heard, I also wondered, excuse me, I also wondered why the smartest person in the room is never the most rich or wealthy person in the room. I That didn't go hand in hand with me, because if you say I'm supposed to be showcasing as an expert and I'm the expert, I master the skills of what I know, then why is it then that my bank account has not hit my revenue goal yet that I wanted to hit? The math ain't mathing, right? And you may meet somebody and you're like, man, they know so much about this product that they're selling. They know it inside and out. Man, they know about personal credit. Man, they know about business credit. Man, they know about first time home buyer. Man, they know about IUL. You meet these people that they're just so smart in what they know, but then as you get to know them, you realize financially they're not as successful, even though they're so smart, even though they have the credentials, even though they have the accolades. Then why is it? Why is it that they're not as successful as they could be? And so that got me really thinking on why that is. And it was, I'm going to be honest with you, it was not until this year that the clarity of why that is came to me. It was not until this year that I'm like, oh, so one Pacific time was on the phone with this amazing lady. And I think I've shared this before. I've shared this on my podcast before, where I was talking to her and she was so good. She had a wealth of knowledge when it comes to building your wealth portfolio. She know everything about building your wealth portfolio. She has been in the game. She knows the inside and out. I mean, for years. I'm talking about a good 30 to 40 years in the financial space. But her herself was not in a space of wealth. Now, I want to know if that makes sense to you. And this might be you right now, where you know your stuff, you have the credentials, you know it inside and out, but you're feeling kind of like you're having imposter syndrome, because you want to serve people and you want to serve them with the offer, the thing that you sell. But when you look back at your own self, you're like, okay, but how do I know all this stuff, but I'm not profiting from what I know? I know all this stuff, but then why am I not a reflection of the thing that I know? And that imposter syndrome will start setting in and want to get you to stop, like feeling like you're not credible enough to be teaching this. You're not credible enough to know this. And I want to talk to you right now. You're the one I want to talk to right now. I truly want you to know that it is possible to know everything there is to know about a specific skill, a specific thing, but yet you yourself are not reflecting on, not showcasing as who that was. And I'm going to show you how you fix that. I'm not going to leave you hanging, okay? I'm going to show you what that looks like. And then now let's take it another way. Let's look at it in another angle, that there are people who know less than you. And I mean less than you, but they're reflecting and they're making more money than you. Hmm, right? So here they are, don't know as much as you know, not the expert, but they're able to create wealth knowing less than you know. They're not the expert, you are. So, how come they are able to do this, but yet you, the expert, is still struggling to reflect the and monetize what you currently know? That was heavy for me. Yeah, that was heavy for me because that was me. Like I kept wondering, I would go to an event or I would enter a coaching program and I would get so frustrated that the questions that's being asked inside of the coaching program, I was expertly advanced for what the audience was asking, what the other people in the coaching program was asking, but yet my bank account didn't reflect that. And that was and it was so frustrating. Like, how in the world I know all of this and I entered this coaching program? Hell, I could even teach the class. And then I'm sitting here and I don't want to sound, because I don't want people to take this the wrong way. I don't want you to take it the wrong way you hear it, but it would get me frustrated. And I remember telling you the story of when I went to my girlfriend's funeral, and when the lady was talking about the reason why she doesn't join a coaching program, because most of the time that she's in a coaching program with people who are less skilled than she is, and she just feel like, why am I investing money in here? Like, what is it? So the conversation we want to have right now, we want to talk about how you, the expert, show up in a different way that showcase that you're not just an expert. How do we shift that? How do we take this person who is such an expert at what they do? How do we now mirror what an expert is supposed to look like from an end results of whatever that success is for you? Making money, generating wealth, having a wealth portfolio, help, whatever that result is for you. How do we take that? And the first thing we have to do in order to see yourself in a different light, in order for that expert to start getting what she desire, you have to see yourself as not just an expert, but an authority. And the biggest mistake I think coaches make, they spend more time trying to view themselves as an expert versus view themselves as an authority. That was a light bulb moment that went off for me, because expert explain and authority, they get paid. Big difference. Expert tell you the how, authority monetize who they are. And what do I mean by that? I mean the fact that when you're an expert, you're mostly want to be educating people and telling them the step-by-step process. But a person who's as an authority, they have some type of influence. They know how to influence people's thoughts and get them to move, to take action, whether they know crap about the offer or not. They're just very influential, and people are saying yes to them more than they even know if they know what they're saying. And not be that it may, I want you to understand that there's stages, and I'm going to grab my whiteboard and kind of walk you through what those stages look like. But there's stages to this expertise. I was listening to the book, and I want to bring that book up because that was like a really good book, and I want to recommend this book to everyone that is to you right now. Um the book I want to recommend. the blue ocean. It's the blue ocean. It's the blue ocean theory. And in the book, The Blue Ocean Theory, it talks about having two ocean. When we talk about ocean, we talk about the marketplace. So we have a red ocean and you have a blue ocean. And when you put out your content, you get feedback and clues and all this stuff. But in the blue ocean, it talks about in the red ocean talks about you have an existing market that you're trying to position yourself in, and it's a battlefield in that market to get noticed, right? There is expansion is super hard to get in that because you just feel like everybody's doing what you're doing, and you have a hard time standing out. You have a hard time being taken serious. You have a hard time influencing people to move with your words. Your voice is not as billable in that market because it's just so crowded, right? But in the blue ocean is where you figure out, yes, this is a market that I'm in, but how do I come into this new marketplace within the existing market and open up a door for opportunities that no one else is doing this? This allow you to attract new demand in your existing market. So one of the things I teach my clients to do is, yes, my client will say, let's, for example, a client is in insurance, and everybody and a mama, you can find an insurance agent in 2 seconds. That's not hard to find. So one of the things they have to do, that's a red market, right? That's a big red market. So if you're following by the blue ocean theory is, okay, let's design a blue ocean versus a red ocean. How do we stay inside the insurance space? Because you know it very well. You're the expert. But then how do we subtitle that down and create a new market within the existing market? So how you do that is getting really hyper specific on what you want to specialize in. I did that when it comes to the challenge code. There are so many people that can teach you challenges, but what they don't teach you is the ecosystem of that challenge. Using your voice to become billable, where you persuade people to say yes to you, and then create a system like a challenge to be able to build that authority that leads to that sale. So they may teach you one part, but they're not teaching a whole cohesive thing from your voice, right? From you creating your voice and experience that turn into a sale, and then taking that voice and experience into a system that position you as the authority that gives you sale. So right then and there, just a formula for what's inside of my The Challenge Code book. Shameless plug. What's inside of my The Challenge Code book is the idea behind. I quickly realized, oh no, expert need to now position himself as the authority versus to always want to be seen as the expert. So let me kind of grab my whiteboard and kind of break that down for you so you can kind of know what that looks like. So again, it's important to remember expert inform, but authority influence. That is the key here. And that is the key why some people may not know as much. And that's a good thing because there's some of you right now, and maybe I'm talking to you, that you really want to put yourself out there, but you're like, I don't know enough. And there are people who know less than you that's making more than you. And the reason why they're able to do that because they position themselves as the authority. They're busy trying to position as the authority and not as the expert. And that's what you should be doing. So when we talk about positioning yourself as the authority, there are different phases here. And I want to walk you through some of these phases that you go through. And I want to also give you this disclaimer. This is not your fault. This is how society and 9 to 5ers told us that we need to do. And we follow the trend. And there is a course called Instant Authority. I want to give a shout out to them because I was listening to their I was listening to their video and they were talking about this, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so true," because I fall. I fall for it. I myself have fall for it for years, not understanding how it works. And I'm just kind of just break down what that looks like in my own language. All right. So when you're a high level, high achiever person, the expert, because most people are expert, are high value, high level, high achievers. So when you decided that you're moving to this phase, the first thing that you do, you say, oh, I want to learn this skill off. So you go into, I'm going to make sure you can see it. You're going into phase one, which is the training phase, right? This is where you training for a certificate or a title of some kind. So that's phase one. Phase one, you're in this phase where it's just the beginning phase of learning the skills, learning the title, learning the certificate, learning the things that you need to know. That's phase one. And then phase two, now along with being in just getting that information, you're now saying to yourself, okay, I want to be able, so you got the training. So just the training and the title and the certificate, now you calling yourself an expert because you did the work. Ask me how long it takes to go to a 4-year college and then go get your master's. Baby, I did the work, and so did you. Right? You went and got that Series 6. You went and got that tax license. You went and got that real estate license. You did the work. So now the evidence of you, if you're an expert, is the work that you put in getting that certificate. So now you're in phase two because you got the training. So now you are now being seen as an expert. So phase two is now you're in the expert space because you got the title to back it up. You got the certificate to back it up. And people tell you like, "Oh, this is great. This is all you need to do. You don't have to go any further." Now, but what they didn't tell you, they made you think that just being in phase two, the expert phase, that this is where the money was going to flow in. You right? So you're like, oh, this is where the money's gonna come in. This is where, and you're like, wait, hold up. I got the certificate, but you didn't teach me how to monetize this certificate. I remember I took the ladies, my mastermind ladies, to Jamaica. And while we were there, one of my high level client, she said to me, she says, I already know this strategy. I already know this system. But what I need you to teach me, I need you to teach me how to leverage what I know. And maybe she didn't know exactly what she was asking me, but truth of the matter is she was asking me, how do I become the authority, which is phase three, right? How do I become the authority in that space, that authority? And the word authority comes from the word author, right? So if authority comes from the word author, that word author is in authority. So when you're in phase three means not only did you get a certificate now, but do you have something to prove that you know it so well? From the information you knew from phase one, from the training that you got, that position you as an authority, can you now show us that you know what you're saying? And that's when you author a book. That's when you author a course. That's when you author an event. Whatever that may be for you, whatever your list of authority is, that's where the word authorship comes in. So it's not enough just to tell people, hey, look at my certificate, my expert. Yes, now you got to show them you're an expert by providing ability to it. I remember when someone I was reading this book. I was reading this book, and one of the books says, hey, you're not an authority yet until you have a book. And that's what they used to tell me. And I'm like, okay, now I got my book, right? But then I realized, no, it's not just a book. Your authority, if you can create a course around what you know, your authority can you host an event around that expertise that you know, right? So that's where the authorship come from. So you're in phase three, and now you're be seen as an authority because you even wrote a book on this thing. You even did create a course on this thing. So now you're not just an expert, you're expert with some type of authorship. Whew, this is so good. It's so good. And then now there's still another phase as this authority because now you wrote the book, now you got the certificate, now you got the training. There is still another phase that no one think about. Now, okay, Now that I have all of this, I have the book to back it up, and I can even go dive deeper. That's when you have something to sell. So your authorship is really your offer. Your offer proves that you are an authority in that space. If you don't have an offer to give people, I don't care how much you're an expert, it's no good to people if you don't have an offer to give to them so they can learn from you. They can learn from you. Author means to have power and have influence, right? So now that authorship, that authority, your offer is being created in that authority. So that's why Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, and all these people have a book, have a podcast, has something to sell to you. Because not only are they the expert in their field, but they have authorship. But they even take it a little bit further. And that's why I'm gonna give you the code. I'm giving you the game. I'm giving you the game. The next step, and listen, if you haven't already, subscribe. I don't ask often, but I do. I'm going to ask today because the teaching is getting good. So the next phase of what we're trying to achieve, that authority. Here's the thing: when I was coaching, I'm like, okay, I created the offer, so now showcase me as an authority. Great, but still, where is the money? We still didn't talk about money. We've been talking about creation this whole time, certificate, trainings, creation whole time, but we have not really touched on where's the influence coming in. So now we go to phase 3. I'm sorry, phase 4. And in phase 4, not only are you an author, but you're a celebrity authority. And celebrity, I gotta get space to write. Phase 4 is the celebrity authority. Now, what does that mean when we're talking about celebrity authority? That's where, because you have an offer and you have authorized your expertise in a book, in a course, because of that, you now can leverage that and be able to get speaking engagement because of your offer. Be able to speak and podcast all your offer. So you become this B celebrity, C celebrity, A celebrity, whatever you calling yourself nowadays, right? But this is where this authority celebrity level coming in phase 4, where you're now what really speed up the process is not only are you calling yourself an author, but other people who are listening to your podcast, other people who are taking your courses, or other people who are you're speaking on their stages, you're now become this celebrity authority with authority celebrityship, right? So, and all of this, that's when the real revenue started showing itself. And you can even take it to phase 5, which would be international celebrity, where you're now known not, and that's phase 5, not just in nationwide, but global, internationally, people know you. See, in these phases of authority influence, because that's the more influential you are, the more money that you can make. That's why people like Jay-Z and all these people, they're influential individual that can make money off their name. And guess what? We're not even talking about, for you, if that's not the type of celebrity you want. We're talking about celebrity in your niche. There's somebody that you know in your niche very well that's doing really good. They're the top real estate person in their niche, and they're the top insurance person in their niche, and they're the top tax professional in their niche. So when we're talking about authority influence, right, we're talking about the fact of you're becoming a celebrity within the space that you solve. Not worldwide, but you're the go-to person in that space. But in order to do that, with to and to go to that space is to understand that expert teach what they know. Authorities monetize who they are. So when you get to phase 3 and down, you're now monetizing who you are. So when people call me to speak in the space that I'm in right now, I'm speaking at an event. I have a proposal, and there's on their proposal, there's certain demands and things that I have because I want to be able to deliver an amazing speech, an amazing takeaway for people beliefs and thoughts to be shifted. So there's some things that I recommend, and that's me exercising my authority, right? There's other things that I expect to be paid for and all the stuff to get me there. So I'm not hustling. How am I going to do this? How am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for that? But yet, and I know the information that I have and the book that I wrote and the things that I've done, it makes people money. So because of that, I have the authority to charge for my expertise. Now, I want to talk to the you who's sitting there saying that, Sherry, that sounds good and all, but I don't know if I'm at that level yet. I don't know. Let me just say this to you. No one, there's not a gate that is closed that you have to go through first is for somebody to say, yeah, you're the authority. Authority comes with you saying yes to yourself today. Isn't that beautiful? And if you don't believe me, that's why the people who are no less than you are making more money than you, because they gave themselves permission and courage to step out there and say, I don't know much, but what I know, I'm going to teach. Right. So you can keep trying to position yourself as an expert and trying to figure out why sales are not happening, even though you know so much. Or you can say to yourself, no, no, no. I have been showcasing myself as an expert for too long. I want to showcase myself as an authority because I want to influence others to a better life. I want to help others I want to give people permission with the knowledge that I know. I did not buy this course. I did not get this knowledge. I did not spend all this money in college. I did not spend all this money in real estate school, in life insurance school, just to sit here and look and just keep it to myself and tell myself, yes, I'm an expert, but nobody know who you are. You're a best kept secret. But if you follow the phase of the authority influential formula concept of what I just taught you, understand that these are the different phases that you go through. And I now understanding this, that's why it's okay for me to say this is what I charge to speak on a stage. That's why it's okay. And guess what? You get permission to do the same thing. You don't have to wait for 5 speaking engagement before you can charge to speak. You can do that now. You can do that now, because now here's, you got to measure yourself and says, hey, do I have the training? Yes, I have the training. Do I have a certificate or something that validate that I know what I'm saying? Yes. Is it necessary? No, but it would be nice to have, right? And then the second thing is, okay, so do I have an offer that showcase that I know what I'm talking about because I create an offer around it? Now, and the answer is yes, I do have an offer. So those 3 steps, having a certificate, having a training, you've been trained in this situation, and then you're having an offer that speak about what your expertise is that somebody can buy from you. That's the first 3 steps and say that I'm an author. Now I have authority because I prove my authority based on my authorship of, I wrote a book on that. I did a course on that. I did an article on that. And I used to date someone, and he was a professor, and his job, in order for him to be seen as an authority in that space, he has to write articles. I mean, so many articles up on a certain subject matter to prove that he has authority in that space. So yes, he went to college. Yes, he got the degree. Yes, he's a doctor. But that didn't mean anything if he's not able to establish an article that is based on that his findings. And his article is his authorship. Like your ebook will be your authorship. so pretty much, and then when because he has that, because he has a published record, that because he has a dissertation, because he has a public record, now people are calling him to speak about this authorship that he has done. It's the same way in our marketing space. So when you're thinking about creating an offer, I want you to shift your idea about I got to create an offer to make money, but you're creating an offer to show that you have authority and influence in that space. You know that thing. You know that thing. And so if you don't have an offer, there lies where you're stuck. You're stuck in phase 3 in putting that authorship out there, putting your authority out there. And then once that is complete, now you have the book or you have the offer, whatever your offer is, the course, the coaching program, whatever that is for you. The fact that you have that, now you're in the next level of not just being authority, but now you want to be seen as a celebrity authority because people are seeing you everywhere. That omnipresence of you talking about that specific thing. Like you will see me talk about my challenge code when I go on a space on a stage. You see me talking about different things when I go there. But the idea again here is this: these phases are necessary because truth be told, the real money happens at the author authority celebrity status. That's really where the money happens. And when I say celebrity, I don't want your mind to go to like a Beyonce celebrity. I'm talking about being a celebrity in the industry that you dominate. That's what I mean. Now people are buying from you not because they believe because they're just meeting you, but their buying is from the way you position yourself on a podcast, the things that you say when we teach you all of that inside our program. Now, if you're saying, Sherry, where do I start with this? Where do I start? Well, I'm glad you said this because this whole week, when last week was my birthday, based on when you're hearing this, it was my birthday and my anniversary. And we have introduced to you the Challenge Code ebook. We have created your space to speak to plus the challenge equals authority. I'm just so glad we have been ahead of the game teaching you how to build your authority versus how to build your expertise. And I'm so glad because that's the space that you start off. And guess what? We want to make sure that if you've been sitting on the sideline waiting but have not got in the game of getting this book, we want to make sure that you don't have to think twice. The book now, the ebook is $4.99. You heard that right. $4.99. So go to thechallengecode.com. And if that wasn't even enough, we even give you 3 bonuses on top of that. So there'll be no excuse of why you can't build your authority. So if you're not getting sales in your business, you're wondering why, ask yourself, are you seen as a celebrity authority? Are you seen as an authority in your industry, in your space? And if the answer is no, then you need that book because we teach you with our framework how to speak plus create that challenge to equals that authority. All right, so make sure you grab the book and really be thinking about these phases that we went over. Until next time, it's your girl Sherry Somerville. Talk to you later.